Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now, it's been 2 weeks, but in those 2 weeks, as you know, we're on a series at the minute where I'm taking you through the whole process of working with a client. Now, at the end of last week's episode, we went through setting the foundations for creating a logo design. If you haven't watched that video, check it out here or here, wherever it is. But if you don't want to, that's fine, you can pick up here. But I have designed the logo for that brand now. And I'm going to show you the logo mark that I came up with. And the only clue you've got is it's for a video editing agency. Now I want you to see, what is it you see in this logo mark? Okay. Now I want you to pause the video and leave down in the comments what you see. Can you see 3 meanings in this logo? 2 of them are you probably might get, but the third one's more towards the brand. But pause the video, put what you see in the comments. Done it? Perfect. That should be fun to look through. So yeah, this is the logo design I came up with for Natively Ornate. And I'm going to show you the sort of sketches that I did beforehand. Okay, so these are the sort of sketches I went through. That was just visualizing style keywords. And then I started to actually to get into some sort of ideation phase over these 2 pages. Now, as you can see, I actually got to this logo quite fast. And I'll show you where I got to it. So you can see here I was exploring with how could this logo be presented, different things going on. Now my sketches are really rough, but you'll see I started to land on it here, at the bottom here. So it took probably about, I'd probably say there's about 55, 60 sketches there of like trying to concept logos. But I started to come up with it down here. It's a terrible sketch, as you can see, but that's when the idea first happened. And you can see it was sort of leading all the way up to sort of here. And then once I'd got those ideas down, I went straight into Illustrator and started to try and vector these things up, see if I could make things work. And because this is quite an abstract logo, balanced, uniform, it needed perfect symmetry and lines, I thought it'd be easier to quickly get into Illustrator and start to play about with it in here, as it's easier to concept stuff sometimes. Now you can see this was my work board, so started around here. I was just bringing things into the computer, just trying to make shapes happen, see what was working, and then I came over to here, started concepting all these different shapes, as you can see, seeing how things could start to work. As you can see, the timelines were sort of starting to make sense here, they were starting to ideate, and then I sort of got to this one. Now this is my, look at this, it's quite messy, but as you can see, there's not actually quite a lot on there. I managed to land on this logo quite quickly, and I'll tell you why now. But yeah, you can see it started to come up here. I was experimenting with type. I was coming down here, making lots of iterations of this mark. How would it work? What's the best way to just display it, you know? And then, yeah, we landed on the final mark kind of over here. Now you'll have seen me come up with, we talked about logo designs and how they can either take an hour to 3 weeks. Well, because of the research I've done into this project beforehand, you know, going through the brief, making sure we had a thorough brief, made sure we went through 3 different mood boards before we settled on one direction, and then we had 2 revisions on the final mood board, so we were really nailing that style down. You'll have seen this in the previous couple of videos. All this research and homework and setting the foundations we've done beforehand made me be able to land on this logo mark quite quickly. So this is why having that process before, spending the extra time in the research and mood boarding stage could just save you a lot of time down the line. Now let's go through the actual meaning behind this logo. I wonder if any of you eagle-eyed viewers guessed it correctly. Okay, so we can see the overall logo is a keyframe. The overall composition of the mark is a keyframe. Seen within video editing programs, it makes for a perfectly balanced shape that houses the rest of the meaning behind our logo. You can see that keyframe shape you'd see in Adobe After Effects and Premiere Pro. And then the next was the timeline. You'll be able to make sense of it now. I bet you're thinking, oh yeah, no, this is all making sense. It's a timeline you'd see in After Effects, Adobe Premiere when you're editing. And yeah, so that the whole sort of the shape to it and the geometric and abstract shapes, it represents a timeline. And then the probably one you probably didn't get was number 3, which is collaboration. Now this is unique to the brand. The brand has 3 audiences. Well, one being Natively Ornate. The second audience is the business-to-business clients, and one of them being creators who come to them for education. So there's 3 sort of people within this brand, and they all fly parallel to each other, which represents the values of collaboration and long-term partnerships. You can also see the way the logo goes this way to represent forward thinking and acceleration, forward thinking strategies. And all this creates the Natively Ornate logo mark. So I'll show you the reasoning behind the type we did as well. So this is the full horizontal lockup of the logo. You can see we've got the logo mark balanced lovely there, and then we've got natively ornate. Now we wanted the logo type to have a lot of character. It had to also stand well on its own away from the mark. And you know, the name natively is all to do with the videos they edit has to be native to the platform. So in my head, I'm thinking aspect ratio, composition. And we've reflected that in the name simply by just choosing a bold sans serif typeface, which would fit perfectly in a rectangle. And you can see the nature of this type. We've used this beautiful mono typeface with a few modifications. But yeah, that one, so yeah, that was the justification by this typeface. And then the second typeface was a bit trickier. So we wanted a typeface that was slightly ornate. We both agreed upon, well, the client, part of the brief was he wanted like maybe a serif typeface to represent ornateness, you know, with little rounded balls and maybe rounded serifs and things like that. However, when it came into the design stage, I tried that. I tried a more traditional type of serif, but it just wasn't working because, as you can see, the most of the logo, it's very abstract, it's modern, it's quite techy in a way, digital. So pairing it with a classic serif just would have contrasted too much and it just wouldn't have worked. Don't get me wrong, I did try to see if it would work. I tried to make some custom serifs. I'm just showing you this because I did explore different, this wasn't finished at all, this was just to see, but I used more of a classic R, more of a classic A. But as you can see, when you look at it as a whole, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that. So as a designer, we have to go away and try and make a solution. And that's hence where I came up with this. Much better, all looks uniform to each other, and it just has that hint of ornateness to it. You can look at that and think, yeah, it is a serif, but it's a modern, digital, beautiful, modern serif that really, really works with this entire logo. Now, to prove my point even further about spending time in the research stage and making sure you actually do a very good mood board, I'm just going to drop the logo that I've designed into the signed off mood board, and you'll see how it just looks like it should be there. It looks like it's from it, everything. If you look at the rest of the mood board, you can see what's inspired this logo. So this was the mood board we signed off on, and as you can see, there's our logo nicely in there. And look, it just looks like it's a part of this mood board. You know, look at all the inspiration we took for the logo mark, but made it its own, made it its own unique mark. You can see with the serif typeface, this was the inspiration we took, but we've made it our own. We've not gone for the balls and stuff because this is just a reference. This isn't placed next to that sans serif. This isn't placed next to a bold geometric mark. This, the way we've done it has made it stand out on its own. But you can see the inspiration taken from, you know, modern geometric marks, slightly ornate typefaces. We can see this mono typeface. You can see how that's inspired by natively here. And then when we build out the rest of the visual identity, we're going to be looking at things like this. But as you can see, it just looks like it's meant to be there. Yeah, so I'm stoked with this. I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it works for the brand perfectly, but I'm not getting my hopes up yet because we don't know what the client will think. But this is why now we're going to have to design a logo presentation to present to the client and really sell this design to the client, breaking down the meaning behind the logo, giving justification for all our design choices. Now we do that through a logo presentation. Now, that's what we're going to do now. Put it all together, get it ready, book in a call with the client and present it to the client. Let's do it.
Finally get paid for the get down. You can't tell me now about time. Do you know how many lines I done put down? Vibes I done sent out, but we ain't here to dig. I'll up the market till they come red carpet and kids. Success still the target. Soon I'll be crossing that bridge, but can't bring everybody with me. Family only. I got some people think I owe a favor, barely know me. That's why my focus on the road. It's all I know. I see them sticking close to play the wall and watch my growth, cause I got something they never had. So get on the beat and I need a helipad. I float, I'm fly. You know where I'm from, so it comes as no surprise. I just out with a mean vernacular, dream spectacular. I keep a queen and passenger.
Boom, we're done. We've done it. Logo presentation done. Now I'm going to run you through it and show you why it's important to have one of these logo presentations to sell the logo design to the client and make them understand. Let me take you through it. So I'll quickly run you through the presentation now. As you can see, we always start with the front cover like this. Then we go into the contents. We talk about what's coming up in the presentation. We talk about the brand. We talk about the mission. We talk about the vision. We talk about the purpose. We go into brand values. Now, if you're confused of where we got all this information from, watch the previous videos. We get all this information from the briefing questionnaire we send to the client, and they fill in all this information for us. And then we're going over the competitor identities. Again, if you don't know where we got this information from, the style direction and the competitor identities, watch how we my video, Ever Wondered How to Mood Board Effectively. This is where we get all this information from. We've looked at the competitor identities, we've looked at the style direction we signed off. So we're just building up now up to this logo design reveal. And then we go into the brief. So the reason I put a briefing slide in here, so we're just reminding ourselves of what we set out to achieve when designing this logo. And then we're going to design keywords, so modern, simple, authoritative, empowering. So like all this, you know, the brand foundations, the competitor analysis, the style direction, the brief, the keywords, it's all building up now to the reveal of the logo. And then we have logo design. And then we reveal the logo like this, and then we let it just sit with them for a while. And then we start to talk about it. We have a breakdown of the logo, modernly gilded. We give a good brief description of how this logo looks, what is it about, you know? And then we break the logo down, and then this is when the client starts to see how it was actually constructed and can probably start to visualize the meaning now. And then we go into more logo details, so you can see how I've talked about growth, and this is how I've visualized that. And then I've talked about fluidity and the mark, and then we've done a big zoom up to see that, making it really clear for the client to see, really breaking down our design decisions here. And then we just show them how the logo mark works in black and how it works in white. And then we show a gridded version of the logo as well, just to show balance and symmetry. And then we talk about going to the logo type. We give a breakdown of the logo type. We go into detail. Why were these typefaces chosen? Were there any custom modifications made? Why did they work for the brand? And then we start to, you know, do some more zoom detailing. How do we marry the type to the mark? And then we go into logo lockups, the symbol, how it works horizontally, how it works vertically. And then we can put up some secondary logos here if there are any other logos that the client may wanted, or there's any subgroups within the brand or merchandise style logos, we can put them in here. And basically we do this as well to show how versatile the logo is. And then we go into black and white. We show the logo how it works in both black and white. And then we start to do some mock-ups, and this is the logo design presentation. So we don't go crazy on mock-ups here. We're just showing how it works on a website header, how it works on branded booklets, how it works on merchandise, how it works in small scale in social media, how it works on big banners. And then we just end the presentation there with the logo in white and the final page. Now, by presenting this logo presentation, we're really selling the design to the client. Most importantly, we're trying to make the client understand the design, understand every design decision we made, and why it works for this brand. Why is this concept the best concept for this brand? You've got to really sell it, because sometimes the client might not understand our design decisions. To us as designers, it looks like a beautiful mark, but to the client, it might just be well, what does it mean? So this is why we sell it through this and build the foundations, recap the brief, recap the keywords, go through the style direction again, recap the competitors, to all this stuff to build up to this is the mark, this is the logo we've been working on for weeks. Now this presentation, I've just released this as a template to you guys because I've been working on this logo presentation template for a while now because I wanted it to be perfect before I released it. So I thought there's no better time to release it with the presentation of this logo. So this is the template, guys, like you've just seen. It's available for Adobe Illustrator. You've got everything here. You've got the contents, you've got brand foundations, the brand, the mission, the vision, the purpose, brand values. You put the competitor identities in here. You've got the style direction. You've got the brief. You're listing your keywords, and then you reveal the logo design here. You talk about the logo design. You've got the logo breakdown here, so you break down your logo here. Talk about logo detail. Go into more logo detail, logo mark inverted, gridded version here, talk about the logo type. So you can see here, this is the full template that I've just used for presenting my natively ornate logo. And yeah, it's a 30-page, fully customizable template for Adobe Illustrator. And if you click example brand, you can see I've included an example brand in there. So you can see all the exact copy I've used. You can take inspiration for the way I've described the logo here. You just toggle it on and off like so. And yeah, like I say, you just toggle it on and off and you can see my exact presentation. If you want this template, it's the first link in the description, and I'm giving you 10% off with the code LOGO10 because I appreciate you watching this video. So if you want it, go get it, but if not, no worries at all. Now, let's book the client in for a call and present this live. Morning, Chris.
Hello, how you doing?
How you doing? You okay? Right, cool. So, yes, logo presentation by me for Natively Ornate on the 27th of January, and this is a version of 1. So, Chris, we're going to be going through sort of the foundations, the brand, mission, purpose, and its audience. We're going to be looking at, again, the competitors we went through. So what does this logo need to achieve? Well, it needs to stand out from other agencies offering similar services. Now, when it comes to the design characteristics, this is what was in the brief. We're looking for something modern. We're looking for something simple. So, I'm going to reveal the logo to you now, Chris. I'll let it sit with you for a minute. Now, modernly gilded. The Natively Ornate logo exudes a feeling of a modern ornateness. Now, I'll show you how I came up with the logo design, Chris. So this is the breakdown of the mark. So the reason it's positioned in this way and it looks like it's growing, it's forward thinking, which represents which is what Natively Ornate values. It shows the forward thinking approach to the business and strategies. So you can see the curved edges within the logo mark mirror the curved serifs within the ornate. You can see how the logo works in black and how it works in white. And these are just a few mock-ups to show you how it will look sort of on a website header. Now this isn't the visual identity, this is just what I quickly threw together to show you an example of how it will work on a website header, how it works on t-shirt designs, if you have t-shirt designs, how the logo works big on the back and the little mark as well stands out great there. There you go, Chris.
Lovely, exciting, really cool. And I love the way you got it as a keyframe with the timeline sort of stuff. I didn't put it together at first, and when she said, I was like, oh, that's genius, really clever. Yeah.
Gosh, that went well. Obviously, the reaction, I say to them before the call, you don't have to leave feedback today, you can leave feedback afterwards, because it's a lot to take in, because obviously I've been designing this now for a couple of weeks, so then this is them seeing it for the first time, so they need to take some time to think it through and whatnot. But reaction seemed good. You can't ever judge off that though. You never know how it's going to turn out. So I've sent the presentation over to them now, and then so take as long as you need to think it through, have a little look, and yeah. But super stoked because I'm so glad I got to finally present that. So yeah, we're just going to wait back on his response. Might be a few days, but yeah, stoked. Okay, just got an email through from Chris. I've just picked the camera up to read it and see what it says. Oh, hang on, how do I open it? It's gone to the top of the email thread. Hey Frankie, apologies for this. Oh. Yes! There's no better feeling than that. No better feeling than that. Very happy to go forward with it. I'll get the email up in here so I can show you. I've had a good bit of time to let the logo sink in, and I absolutely love it. I think you've nailed it, and I really like the design thinking behind it. Great presentation as well. Very happy to go forward with it. Let's go. Now, I needed that. I needed it. That's why we have to sell these logos in a presentation like the one I've showed you, to make the client really understand. I could have just put that logo on a page with a few mock-ups and said, look, here's the logo. What do you think? And they just wouldn't have got it. But doing all this is you've got much more high chance of them signing off first time, because you've shown them why this works for their brand, why the design decisions you've made, why this logo works for their brand. So yeah, really stoked with that. So the next part of the process is deep diving into the visual identity stage. And I'm going to have a lot of fun here, because this is where we can be a bit artistic with. I know we want to use a lot of textures and background assets and things like that with this, so we're going to have a lot of fun creating that. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is I'm speaking at my very first ever design summit, and I'd absolutely love for you to come along. It's a completely free event. There's 20 plus other speakers, and I'm sure you'll know who all the other designers are. It's got an insane lineup, and I'm speaking at it. I've done my presentation all on the client acquisition process, mastering the client journey, attracting, pitching, and signing high-value clients. So if you like these videos, you're going to love my presentation, because I go really in depth. I did like a half an hour presentation on that whole process, full of tips and tricks I've learned. And you can sign up through the link in my bio. It's completely free. It's over the 12th to the 14th of February, and you don't need to get on a plane anywhere. You don't need to book a hotel. It's a digital summit. So on the 12th of February, 11 a.m., my presentation will be going live, and shortly after it goes live, I'll be doing a live Q&A to answer any questions about it and whatnot. So it'd be great to see you there if you come from the YouTube. But yeah, link in the bio. But But yeah, honestly, really appreciate you sitting through this and watching it. I know we're 2 weeks late with the video, but that's because I spent 2 weeks designing this logo, and I knew it would be a bit of a longer process. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you got this far through the video, please comment carrot again, and I'll see you next week.